Imagine someone calling your name in the ocean without a language. No voice, no words, no visible mouth forming sound. Just a signal moving through water like it was already waiting for you. And now imagine something even stranger. That sound is not generic. It is not random. It is not shared. It is yours. Somewhere in the vast silence of the ocean, a dolphin produces a whistle that is not just communication, but identification. A sound that doesn't describe the world, but points directly at a single individual inside it. For a long time, we believed names were a human invention. A symbolic breakthrough. A line that separated us from everything else living on Earth. We thought only humans could attach identity to sound in a stable, abstract way. But the ocean never cared about our assumptions. Dolphins live in a world where vision is unreliable. Light fades quickly underwater. Distance distorts shape. Objects disappear into blue uncertainty. In that environment, survival depends on something more precise than sight. Sound becomes structure. Sound becomes memory. Sound becomes identity. And over decades of research, scientists discovered something that quietly reshaped our understanding of intelligence. Each bottlenose dolphin develops a unique whistle early in life. A pattern of sound that is not inherited from parents, not copied from the group, and not assigned socially like a human name. It emerges individually, like a signature forming in real time. This is called a signature whistle. At first, it seemed like a label dolphins used for themselves. A kind of acoustic name tag they broadcast into the water so others could recognize them. But then came the more unsettling discovery. Other dolphins don't just hear these whistles. They memorize them. They store them. And when they want to call a specific individual, they reproduce that exact whistle. Not approximately, not creatively altered, but copied with precision. A dolphin, in essence, calls another dolphin by saying its name. Not metaphorically, structurally. And suddenly, the ocean starts to look different. Because this is no longer just communication. This is targeted identity recall. A cognitive act that requires memory of individuals, recognition of their unique acoustic signature, and intentional reproduction of that pattern in the correct social context. In simple terms, dolphins don't just recognize each other. They address each other. And that changes the entire psychological landscape of who they are. To call someone by name is not a trivial act. In human psychology, it is one of the earliest markers of social bonding. A name collapses distance. It transforms a group into individuals. It turns them into you. When someone says your name, your brain reacts differently. Attention increases. Emotional relevance rises. Social salience activates. You are no longer part of the background world. You become the target of meaning. Now imagine that system existing in a species that evolved completely separately from us, in an environment where survival depends on coordination, trust, and real-time social intelligence. Dolphins do not live in isolation. They live in shifting alliances. Relationships are not static. They change, break, reform, strengthen. Memory matters. Recognition matters. Individual identity matters. So the signature whistle is not just a name. It is a social anchor. A way to maintain continuity in a world that is constantly moving. But here is where it becomes even more interesting. Dolphins don't only use signature whistles to label others. They also imitate them strategically. When a dolphin repeats another dolphin's whistle, it is not random mimicry. It is a directed signal, "I am addressing you." That means dolphins understand something extremely sophisticated. They understand that sound can represent a specific mind. Not just a body in space. Not just a member of a group. But an individual with memory, history, and expectation. This is where the psychological implications begin to stretch our assumptions. Because if a species can recognize individuals, remember their unique identifiers, and intentionally use those identifiers to initiate interaction, then we are no longer talking about simple intelligence. We are talking about structured social cognition, the ability to model others as consistent entities across time. And that ability is the foundation of empathy. Not empathy as emotion, but empathy as strategy. To predict another being's response, you must first assume that being has a stable inner continuity. You must believe that this individual today is connected to this individual yesterday. You must build a mental model of someone else's mind. Dolphins appear to do exactly that, which raises an uncomfortable question. If identity recognition is the foundation of social intelligence, then how far down the evolutionary ladder does it go? Because humans often treat consciousness as a binary. We imagine a sharp line, either a species is aware or it is not. Either it has language or it doesn't. Either it has selfhood or it is instinct-driven. But nature rarely works in binaries. It works in gradients. And dolphins sit somewhere in a very uncomfortable middle space. They are not human, but they are not simple organisms reacting mechanically to stimuli either. They exist in a cognitive zone where individuality matters, memory spans years, relationships evolve, and identity is stable enough to be referenced through sound. And then there is the most subtle part. A dolphin calling another dolphin by its signature whistle is not just transmitting information. It is recreating the presence of that individual in acoustic form. In a way, it is a reconstruction of identity. A temporary resurrection of you inside sound. That means the ocean is not silent chaos. It is layered with invisible social structure. Networks of recognition moving through water. Conversations that are not visible but deeply intentional. And suddenly, the ocean becomes something else entirely. Not a space without language, but a space where language is built from identity itself. This shifts the way we interpret intelligence. Because we used to think intelligence was about tools or problem-solving or manipulation of environment. But here, intelligence looks like something quieter. The ability to remember who someone is, even when they are gone from sight. The ability to reach across distance, using nothing but a pattern that represents a mind. And if that is true, then the boundary we draw between human and animal starts to blur in a very uncomfortable way. Not because dolphins are becoming human, but because we might not be as unique as we thought. The idea that names belong to us alone begins to dissolve. Because somewhere beneath the surface of the ocean, identity already has a sound. And it is being used not to describe the world, but to call someone back into it.